Is it even worth running ads, Facebook ads, to drive people to your group? Is that even something we should be thinking about?
There's a few little tricks to doing that, but reach ads, engagement ads can be successful for that. Run people to a landing page, and then the landing page is join the group. You can do an email collection or not. The button can just direct them over to the group. So either way, we've seen works really well.
Is it even possible to make money out of your Facebook group?
You might have a Facebook group right now that somebody would be willing to sponsor, somebody would be willing to advertise in there, somebody would be willing to buy your Facebook group. There's so many monetization strategies around it.
Founder of the Successful Ads Club and Facebook ad expert, responsible for over tens of millions in Facebook ad spend. Tara Zirker, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. Good to be here with you and your audience.
It's great to have you back. Honestly, our first interview that we did, and I'm going to have some links below if everyone wants to listen to that, was one of the most popular episodes of the After Hours Entrepreneur. Pretty cool.
Oh, that's good to know. That's exciting.
Yeah, it still gets downloads today. Still people are listening to it. And in that episode, y'all, we just basically break down from start to finish how to construct a fantastic Facebook ad. So I'm going to put a link there below because today I want to talk a little bit more about the business of the Successful Ads Club and what Tara's built there. So Tara, why don't you just give us a 1,000-foot overview? What is the Successful Ads Club? What is it?
Yes, you bet. Successful Ads Club is our membership where our framework, for running your own Instagram and Facebook ads, it's where that lives. So we have our framework, all of our training, as well as mega support. So we have daily office hours in there and just all sorts of things so that people are really resourced to run their own Facebook and Instagram ads. And Mark, I know you know this and can appreciate this, but so often when people are out there wanting to run Facebook and Instagram ads, they have to sort through all this information and or hire someone. And that's not cheap to do. So a lot of people, find themselves in a situation of, I've got to figure this out on my own before I outsource it. And that's where we come in is we help people through that process.
Yeah, the group, the community, it's definitely something that I'm seeing a lot of top creators do. Evan Carmichael is getting into this community space. Pat Flynn, community space, and of course the Successful Ads Club. And I see a lot of appeal to it, okay? Because as someone who's running a social media, digital media agency, it is extremely difficult to give people that need help because you have to throw a lot of resources, time, money, systems. It can be a lot. And I know you had initially started in the digital marketing agency space. I want to kind of know, when did you decide to make that shift in this community style program?
Yeah, well, it was a very scary shift, to be honest. I was running a very successful agency. In the beginning of my agency, we did everything: blogging, social, SEO, newsletters. I mean, you name it. If it had anything to do with digital, we would say yes, figure it out, develop a service around it, and serve our clients. And it was pretty awesome, but it was also super intensive. So lucrative, but man, I mean, you really were going to bed with the weight of a lot of things on your shoulders. I would say the weight of the world, but it wasn't quite that dramatic. But the weight, it was definitely a weighty sort of business. Once I had my first baby, foolish story, I gave myself 3 weeks off. She was in the NICU for the first week, and then I had this very premature, underweight, under everything baby, and I was back to work because we had all these fires to put out, and just that 3-week little break was not well managed by myself, or my team was really struggling, and clients were really upset, and I just realized I'm not running a business. This business is running me. So I had to completely overhaul it and figure out how to do it better. My next baby, I took a 4-month maternity leave. My team grew my business while I was gone. And my last baby, my third one I just had, and, again, another 4-month maternity leave and a very peaceful, period of knowing like my business was in good shape and it was going to be fine without me. So we eventually figured it out, but our company went through so many iterations where, eventually I let go of all of our services, focused only on the thing that I truly, truly love, which is advertising. And then eventually, because we gained a reputation for rehabbing problematic accounts, accounts that are fragile, disabled, the drill. We started getting so many consultations, people wanting to book us for a few hours to look at their ads account. And I finally packaged all of that together into our framework. But I mean, there's so many years of iterative versions of this business between our original marketing agency to now what we are truly well known for is pure training company. So every time I took that leap to close down another service, close down another product, focus, it was so scary because you never know how that's going to work out. And it worked out well for us, but you know what? Had it not, I would have just gone back to what we were doing and also, other services that we loved. There would never be a true failure because I would just keep iterating. So at some point I had to just realize like, I can go back to how this was a few weeks ago, a few months ago. Nothing's gonna, there's no decision here that's not reversible. So that kind of helped me out.
Yeah. And I remember last time we spoke, you mentioned that being an entrepreneur is kind of like jumping out of a airplane and then building your parachute on the way down. Because I get that. But I guess my thought here is, the sooner you can get, and I run into this with clients and fans and all the time, is they're very concerned about niching down. And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you. At first, come one, come all, we'll figure it out, we'll do it, we'll learn it. But the sooner you can get to that specific niche, we are going to teach you how to do great Facebook and Instagram ads, right? That's the niche. The sooner you get there, the better, right? But do you think it's possible to get there without going through all the learning curve that you had to go through?
Probably not. So probably not, because even let's say if you are building a business from knowledge you gained in your corporate career, which is actually, by the way, I was just reading a great study on this, that is where most people get the ideas to start their businesses, from knowledge gained within their former employers, or, maybe current employer. But if even taking that, let's say, if you have deep experience, maybe I was an advertiser in, a previous corporate life, and then I decide I'm going to go out on my own. Well, okay, maybe I have advertising as kind of what I'm aiming for. There are so many sub niches within that. So there's number one, all the platforms, but number two, let's just even take Facebook and Instagram ads. Well, you have attribution experts, people who just do tracking. You have people who just do copywriting, just do video production, just teach, just work on scaling for really high budget accounts, over $1 million a month, or work on really low budget accounts. Or there's so many business models just within that niche, and then within each of those sub niches, that you really just have to roll up your sleeves and start working and seeing what you love. Now, what I think that, and I bet you agree with me, Mark, I think most people make the mistake in staying too long in this exploration phase and almost letting that consume them and become their business. And it's exhausting, and it's not where you should be. Now that I know what I know, I'm a firm believer that where you start your business, it should not be where you end your business. Like that. And if you do, you're probably doing something wrong, to be honest. You're probably staying with something that is not your ideal path for far too long. Because think of it like a career, or staying in the same role, within the same company. Are you going to do that your whole career? Absolutely not. You want to get promoted, or, move around the company at least and get to know different things. Same thing with businesses, but so often as a business owner, we think, well, this is what I started. This is what I'm doing. I can't move on. All these people depend on me. And, you're missing out on a much better, happier, easier, simpler life, because your next iteration is going to be far more simple. Let me guarantee you that.
Yeah. I mean, this focus on being better than yesterday is absolutely huge. If your business has not iterated or evolved over the past several years, to your point, you're definitely doing something wrong. I want to talk about this sub niche a little bit more, this idea, because there's over 7 billion people on earth, right? I promise you there's 1,000 people that are very interested in the skill set that you have. And I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. They're actually responding to a TikTok video that I posted. And they said, I would love to learn how to make more money online. And I said, well, what are you great at? And they're like, well, I'm not great at anything. I'm like, trust me, there's something. But one of the things that you've done, Tara, and I'm kind of going off on a little bit of a segue here, that's really interesting to me, I don't see a lot of entrepreneurs do this, is you've positioned yourself as a woman of faith. And it seems very scary to bring religion or faith into what we do as a business owner. So my question for you is, do you think that being outspoken about your faith and being public with your faith has helped you grow the business faster?
Faster? No. And I think it definitely turned some people off when I first started posting. First of all, when I first started posting things about my faith. And then second of all, when I actually changed my bio on all my platforms to say, faith-focused Facebook and Instagram ads expert. That was scary. And it definitely turned some people away. And you know what? That's just fine, because what it has done, so I won't say that it's grown things faster, but it's grown things deeper. So a lot of people have come to me in the months since I've done that and said, I've been looking for somebody who shares my same, my same outlook on life to be my mentor in growing my business through ads, or maybe not through ads. Like, I don't know if they were that specific, but be one of my mentors, like be someone I can look up to in business. So it has repelled certain people, and that's totally fine. It has also attracted a ton of people to me. So I feel like things are still moving kind of at a similar pace. I wouldn't say it's accelerated anything, but I feel more comfortable in my own business skin. And, something that's been really important to me, my whole business journey, and something that has actually majorly accelerated my business journey is truly turning it over to God and making God my CEO, and not just like a cute t-shirt, but actually doing the actions of that. It's deeper work than most people would ever realize or surrender to. And that has made all the difference. And so being kind of, forthcoming with that in my, just by changing that bio is more a reflection of years of literally making God my CEO. And I mean, literally doing that. And so that was just kind of a natural result of wanting to attract more people who feel that way too. So I don't know if that's a long-winded response, but
no, and I think it's an important topic. It's something that basically never gets talked about, which is why I wanted to ask you about it, because everyone kind of steers away from the boogeyman of bringing, your personal beliefs into your business, because you don't want to scare away potential clients. But I really like what you said about creating deeper connections. I think we all know this famous quote by Kevin Kelly, build 1,000 true fans. 1,000. I'm sure there's 1,000 believers out there that would really be attracted. I think that also a lot of people we're kind of moving into this movement where people are putting their dollars behind companies that have similar beliefs, whether that's political, religious, gender, sex, whatever. So I think it's a really interesting choice to kind of stick your stake in the ground and say, this is me, this is what I'm about, and this is what the Successful Ads Club is about. And really interesting choice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit again, and we're kind of bouncing all around. I got all these different notes, all these different questions. I got Tara Zirker here from the Successful Ads Club. I got to get the best stuff from her. So I want to talk about Facebook a bit. Okay. Facebook, everyone's there, right? And this is something we established last time we were chatting. You want to run Facebook ads because everybody is there. But that's one of the problems with Facebook as well. Everybody's there. So it's very loud. It's very noisy. And I'll give you an example. I can post a video on TikTok and it'll reach 1,000 people. I post a video on Facebook, and if I get one like, I'm like feeling good about it, right? Mm-hmm. Is it even possible to grow organically on Facebook, or do we need to have some sort of ad strategy behind our presence?
Yeah, mostly you need to have an ad strategy, but I'll caveat this with a prediction that, and depending on when you're tuning into this episode, right now the whole marketing world is up in arms about all of these iOS changes that Apple has basically put on the world of advertising. And just when we thought it was just advertising, now email. So that's going to start being impacted. So you have all of these, it's going to be a whole new world in marketing moving forward, being compliant with all these privacy policies by, companies as well as, like actual regulatory bodies. We've got basically what I would say is the beginning of a new world of marketing. And so we're just, anyone who's kind of figuring this stuff out right now will be pioneers in this new era. And I believe because Facebook is making all these changes, mark my words, and let's see if this comes to fruition. But I would not be surprised if over the next 6 to 12 months, because Facebook is trying to make all their business, owner community happy, I wouldn't be surprised if they really loosen the algorithms. So, it wouldn't surprise me if your organic posts start getting, more reach, more engagement, that sort of thing. It wouldn't surprise me if your videos get more views. It wouldn't surprise me if boosted posts, the simplest of all the Facebook, mechanisms that used to work really well and now it doesn't work for what people want it to work for, It wouldn't surprise me if that stuff starts working super well again. So I would say, especially over the next few months, give your Facebook page some love. See if it gives you, anything extra in return. Because right now Facebook is, they're sweating it out. They're feeling the pressure. They're trying to figure out, number one, how to adjust to all of these, pixel changes in a way that satisfies everybody. And number two, how can we make people happy in the meantime? So I just would not be surprised to see organic have a new day. Now, the one thing that I will say Facebook has been very vocal about, and that is 100, you see it in your own newsfeed. Groups are the hottest thing on Facebook right now. It's their biggest priority. If you go to your newsfeed, there's not a chance in this world that one of your top 5 posts or 10 posts, well, probably 5 posts are, is not like, there's not a chance it wouldn't be from a Facebook group.
For sure.
Or in other words, it's going to be Facebook groups, right? That's what's filling the top of the newsfeed. So remember, in any given day, people have an average of 1,500 Facebook posts in their feed. And, most people tune into a couple dozen of them at most. And businesses, take up the bottom of the newsfeed. So any business you're following, that content goes to the bottom of the newsfeed. But what's the top of the newsfeed right now, regardless of if it's a business or an organization, community, nonprofit, doesn't matter. If it's a group, it's the top of the newsfeed. So take advantage of that and leverage that, because that's your hottest opportunity with Facebook right now. And then, of course, if you go to Instagram, also owned by Facebook, we all know it's Reels. So Reels is your biggest organic moment there.
Well, I'm with you on Facebook groups, and I run a Facebook group, the After Hours Entrepreneurs. Go figure. And it does pretty well. People are joining. It's growing. I've never actually run ads against it. Is it even worth running ads, Facebook ads, to drive people to your group? Is that even something we should be thinking about?
Yeah, some people do it, and you can do it very successfully. Some people do it successfully with reach ads. There's a few little tricks you have to sometimes implement, sometimes using a Bitly, sometimes the Bitly works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, there's a few little tricks to doing that, but reach ads, engagement ads can be successful for that. Another really great way to do it is run people to a landing page, and then the landing page is join the group. And then you can do an email collection or not. The button can just direct them over to the group. So either way, we've seen works really well. And I would say if you're curious and if growing your group is, of interest, then I don't know, a few $100, like let's say $300 to $500 as an experiment, probably sounds like a good, like a good amount to test it with and see if it's worth it for you.
Well, then the question becomes, we're spending money, which means that we're expecting or hoping or praying or going to the one and only Tara at the Successful Ads Club to make sure that money is coming back, right? If I'm spending $500, I want to be pretty confident I'm going to be making a return on that. Is it even possible to make money out of your Facebook group? What's our outlook there?
Oh man. Well, so we see Facebook groups and obviously, we serve thousands of members a year. So we see such a diverse range of ways to use Facebook groups that I personally never would have thought of. But we have, for example, retailers, let's say like a cute little boutique or something that sell like 98% of their inventory out of Facebook groups. And they'll do all sorts of cool things inside their Facebook groups. Like people can post pictures and they'll have one of their managers, create outfits for that person, or there's just all sorts of ways that retailers use Facebook groups. Okay, that's pretty cool. Obviously, you've got people with digital products who sell their, do launches inside of their Facebook group really successfully. You have podcast communities or Clubhouse communities even that keep the conversation going. There's lots of monetization opportunities there. There are businesses that buy Facebook groups just to leverage the audience. My girlfriend sold a Facebook group that she ran, a free Facebook group. It was getting out of control. She was tempted to shut it down. She sold it to somebody in her industry. It was like a complimentary sort of partner, and they bought her Facebook group from her. So there's all sorts of reasons, and there's all sorts of reasons to use Facebook groups. There's all sorts of reasons why other people might want to leverage your Facebook group. There's for anybody listening in, you might have a Facebook group right now that somebody would be willing to sponsor. Somebody would be willing to advertise in there. Somebody would be willing to buy your Facebook group. There's so many monetization strategies around it. I'm thinking of a brick and mortar yoga studio that we worked with, and really cool strategy. They had a Facebook group. That's where they sold most of their memberships and, special classes and workshops. And they would have like 10 community partners in there, their favorite hairdresser, like a bunch of kids activities, things. And they would each take turns sharing events that were happening in the community. Now the yoga studio owned it, but what an amazing resource for any mom, their target audience being moms. Any mom would tune into the Facebook group and say, what's going on in town, this week, or what are the free events, or, oh, look, they're, so-and-so's running a special on getting lashes done. I think I'll do that, this week. So, there's collaboration opportunities, monetization opportunities, community building. Mark, you have a Facebook group. You could probably teach a master class on it, but it's crazy what people are doing in Facebook groups.
Yeah, I actually had a Facebook group. It's actually still live. It's called the Awesome Dad Group. And one of the dads actually posted a video in the group, and I don't know exactly how, but someone actually said, hey, Mark, we like this video. We want to use it in an ad. And they paid me $500. I didn't even post it. Nothing. It was just free.
Awesome.
But I mean, what I think we're hearing here is that Facebook ads are really hot right now. Facebook is really pushing the algorithm. It's a great place for you to build a community, and then you can leverage that community. You can leverage that attention to kind of strategize different offerings, which Tara just broke down at 3 or 4 very innovative type of options here. One of the things I definitely need to ask you, Tara, is how to grow our podcast. We have a ton of podcasters that listen to the After Hours Entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
And a question that comes up a lot is, how can I grow it quickly? How can I run ads against it? So how can we leverage Facebook ads to grow our podcast?
Okay, so I'll outline 3 or 4 strategies that I've personally worked on. Now, I would not classify, there are people who really are, focused on this niche. I would not say that this is my area of expertise. I'll just share the 3 or 4 strategies that I've implemented for clients that have worked well. And hopefully these will, stoke some creative fires for everybody else. So the first way is simply running traffic ads to your top 5 podcast episodes. Now, you don't want them to be super old episodes, right? So kind of make them within probably the same year sort of a situation, to where people aren't feeling like they're downloading an outdated episode. But 5 of your more recent episodes, you can just run traffic ads to those. And what will happen is you'll just see download. I mean, you can't really track this. You won't know from Facebook, like, how many downloads did you get? That doesn't exist, but you will see more downloads on those episodes. And so especially if those episodes have calls to action to some of your other funnels or anything like that, you can really use that strategy to your advantage. Now, what kind of budget are you talking with that sort of thing? You could do a budget of $2 a day. You could do a budget of $200 a day. But honestly, even a few dollars a day will consistently increase those downloads for you. And then, the metrics beyond that, obviously we don't have that integration with, any of the platforms. It's not on iTunes that you can, trace it back, but you can make some really good educated guesses. So you might say, if most of your episodes start to dwindle off after, 30 days, 60 days, whatever kind of the standard metric is for your podcast, and you're still seeing, well, now you're running ads and you're seeing episode, continuous downloads, you can make really educated guesses from your ads.
I have a question in actually constructing the ad itself, Tara. Do we need to incorporate any sort of video, any sort of extra supplementary picture, or can we just stick a link on there and go?
Yeah, you definitely, you'll want to have some visuals. So an image, an audiogram, a video of some sort. I love GIFs personally. I think GIFs are so hot on Facebook right now. So Mark, it could be something as simple as, taking a GIF. We've got a video stream running here. You could just do a GIF of like parts of our more animated, where we're being animated in conversation. Quick 3 to 5 second GIF would get the job done. So it could be something so simple. Could be just an image too. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be even your podcast art. Again, nothing crazy. You can test it and see, what's producing the least cost, the least expensive cost per click, and or the highest click-through rate, and make your judgments based on that. So simple, couple bucks a day. That will consistently increase your downloads. And obviously what you're hoping to do is ultimately convert somebody into subscriber, a loyal fan, an avid listener. And so you're hoping all of that stuff is happening along the way because your content is amazing. Okay, next thing you can do is run people to, well, a sister strategy to that, by the way, could be instead of running them to like the actual download link, you could be running them to your blog. Okay, so then on your blog, you can pixel it, and now you can start to see a little bit more detail. You can start to retarget people, so you could do something like that. All right, another thing that you could do is, I've seen this done very effectively. You could run people to some sort of offer, like a landing page, email collection, and maybe it is, a PDF of your top 5 blogs, but it has some additional resources, right? So it's like, or maybe it's just your top, get our, most popular podcast of all time with a bonus resource that makes it super juicy. So now you're collecting an email, you're collecting, they're going to go download the episode. So you're getting even more value from that. You could be collecting, text or phone numbers for texting. There's all sorts of things you could collect with that strategy. And then another thing is you could, or let's see, so sending people straight to the thing, to the link, sending them to blog, sending them to a lead capture. Those are going to be actually probably your three most popular strategies. And then the other thing you could be doing is sending them, we talked about groups. You could be sending them to your group where you're promoting your podcast. And then another little quick thing I'll throw in here, and this was going to actually be my 4th method, is something that's coming soon is Facebook's going to be featuring podcasts. And right. I was just talking with someone, we can only assume that the natural next thing there would be, allowing people to advertise to their podcast. So there you go, little collection of strategies, and hopefully that creates some ideas for people.
Yeah, this is Tara. This is great. We got 5. Tara just gave you 5 different strategies on how you can run Facebook ads to grow your podcast, which this is fantastic. And one thing that I found is that social media companies want to keep you on the platform. They don't want you leaving. So if you can run a Facebook ad to a Facebook podcast, to me, that seems like you get a super, super effective CPM on those types of ads, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very excited about that. So listen, we've been talking here with Tara Zirker from the Successful Ads Club, and I want to challenge everyone today. I want you to pick out a budget, and I want you to start running some Facebook ads to something. Let's say it's your podcast, to your blog. I want you to run some ads. It doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe it's $10, maybe it's $100, whatever you want to do. I want you to run it, and I want you to tag Mark Savant Media, and I want you to tag Tara Zirker on Instagram, and let us know how it's going. Go to Instagram at Tara Zirker, at Mark Savant Media, and let us know how it's going. Just tag us. I want to see. I want to know. I want to know how it goes.
I love it. I would love to see that too.
Yeah, you're gonna be seeing me, Tara. Watch out. I'm gonna be tagging you because I'm gonna try some of these things we talked about today.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be cool. Gonna be cool. Okay, awesome. So before I let you go, I want to go through an overrated, underrated section. So
Ooh.
buckle up. We're gonna go through this real quick because I got to know. Overrated, underrated, boosted Facebook posts.
Ooh, okay. So for me, overrated, but again, I'm going to give it a 6-month window where I think it might become underrated. So that's my, yeah.
Okay. I dig it. Overrated, underrated, story ads.
Oh, story ads, way underrated. People don't ever do them. They're very successful when they work well. They work really, really well.
Excellent. Overrated, underrated, Clubhouse.
Oh, underrated. I am very excited about Clubhouse. I'm totally a newbie, as you know, and starting to get my feet wet there, but I think it's going to be fabulous.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Whether it's there, we're kind of having a battle of the audio platforms right now, but I really like Clubhouse. We'll see a few more just coming out to Twitter Spaces. Green Room was just started by Spotify. Facebook is starting to play with it too. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Very interesting. Banana bread, overrated, underrated.
Oh, banana bread, overrated for me. It doesn't. Yeah. I don't. It's okay. It's not like I'm not seeking it out.
I know you're huge on bananas because we were just talking about this in Clubhouse the other day. I said, I wonder. Let's go a step deeper. Let's check out banana bread. Yeah. Right. And then the last but not least, overrated, underrated, Facebook groups. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated. These are going to continue to explode and grow over the next couple of years at least.
Brilliant. Yeah. And Facebook is putting out tons of money in ad spend on national television too.
Yeah.
For Facebook groups. So yeah, I'm with you there. Definitely underrated. Excellent. Well, listen, we've been talking to Tara Zirker, the founder of the Successful Ads Club. You've been challenged. Run some Facebook ads. Tag Mark Savant Media and tag Tara Zirker. We want to know what you're doing. We want to know how it's working out for you. Tara, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Mark. It was great to talk with you.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.